Hello and welcome to See Here Love. I'm your host, Melinda Estabrook. And today we're discussing body esteem and appearance anxiety. In 2016, the Dove Global Beauty and Confidence Report interviewed 10,500 females across 13 countries, including Canada, and found that women's confidence in their bodies is on a steady decline, with low body esteem becoming a unifying challenge shared by women and girls around the world, regardless of age or geography. Now, here are some statistics from that report, and some of them may be shocking, or some of them you'll say, I agree. Well, in that report, 85% of women and 79% of girls say they opt out of important life activities, such as trying out for a team or club or engaging with family or loved ones, when they don't feel good about the way they look. 7 in 10 girls with low body esteem say they won't be assertive in their opinion or stick to their decision if they aren't happy with the way they look. 9 out of 10 women with low body esteem will stop themselves from eating or will otherwise put their health at risk. And 8 in 10 of both women and girls feel some pressure to never make mistakes or show any weakness. And finally, 69% of the women and 65% of the girls cite increasing pressures from advertising and social media and media to reach an unrealistic standard of beauty as a key force in driving appearance anxiety. And finally, 56% of all women in this report recognize the impact of an always-on social media culture in driving the pressure for perfection. Now, this is heartbreaking, and we desperately need help in healing in this area of body esteem and appearance anxiety. And to help us do just that, I am joined by my co-hosts, Joanna, Kimberly, and Jen, along with our friend and reoccurring special guest, psychologist Dr. Mary Lynn.
Yes.
Yay! Welcome back. To help us have a better understanding of body esteem and appearance anxiety, and to help us become more healthy and whole in these areas. So I know this is something that, Kim, you came to me and said, Melinda, I really want to talk about this. I'm seeing this with, with my daughter and her friends and even myself. But first off, are these statistics shocking for you? What are your thoughts immediately when I said those statistics off the top of the show? What came to mind? Are they shocking or not?
No.
Not
shocking.
No.
No.
Not at all.
Thinking 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
So you thought it'd even be higher?
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe they're a little low.
Oh, wow. Maybe some of the women weren't even truthful, because in some of these things.
Yeah.
Jen, what about you? Shocking to you or not?
No, not at all. I mean, when you think about how women just talk about themselves, you go for coffee and it's like, do I look fat? Does my hair look bad, right? It's this running pattern that I think as women, it's almost how we build bonds with one another now, is talking about how ugly we feel.
Yeah.
It is something that I think gets in your internal dialogue. And I think with social media now, with the filters, and you're only seeing these kind of glamorous parts of people's lives, it's up the intensity even more.
Yeah.
I agree.
Kim, you?
Yep, it has been a struggle, and I have a 14-year-old daughter, right? And I don't know, I just feel like lately, I feel like it's ramped up a little bit for me, maybe because my whole world's changed, I'm in a different place, I'm not like around all my girlfriends like I was living in Canada, I don't know, but every day, I am struggling. Like, my pants don't fit, I'm ugly, I'm not good enough for my husband. Like, does he think I'm, so the lights go down when you want to be intimate because I don't feel good in my own skin. And every day, but it's almost obsessive. Like, I think about it all the time. I sit down and go, oh, there's that nice little roll right there. But I think it's too much, and we become obsessive.
Yeah.
It takes over everything.
So the numbers, the stats don't surprise you?
Not
And you're actually feeling like I am one of those statistics.
I am one of those statistics.
Yeah. Joanna?
Sure.
Yeah, I resonate with it, for sure. I think I'm maybe less on the spectrum than some other women, because I'm always fascinated by when I compliment someone how quick they are to, oh, this is old shirt. Oh, like, oh, but my hair today. Oh, and like, honestly, it's irritating because like on an uncompassionate level, it's irritating because like, I really, like, it's like you're calling me a liar. I just said I liked this thing about you, and you're pushing back, like rejecting it, as if I wasn't telling you the truth, which is irritating, because it happens all the time. But on a deeper level, I think, if this is what you're willing to say out loud, imagine how bad it is in your head.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I often think about those conversations. Oh, like, if this is what you're willing to tell me what is the like worst story that's happening in your own internal dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say for statistics, I mean, it doesn't surprise me because some of those I resonate with, and more in certain seasons. Like there are things where when I was a lot younger, coming to Canada, and seeing on magazines no one representing a Filipino on the cover of Vogue or In Style magazine, and really struggling like, I'm not being represented as somebody who's beautiful on the cover of magazines or even in advertising.
Right.
So I understand that. Like that was a big thing. I'm like, who represents us? And if you're not representing us, does that mean then me as an Asian, a Filipino woman, that's not beautiful? Because there was a certain look when I came. So I get that statistic, and I've had to struggle with that too, because you do compare with media advertising on what culture deems beautiful.
And it's the comparison that kills you.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of, Galatians 6:4, like it's that comparison piece. If you can just, fix your eyes on Jesus, fix your eyes on your own game, but when you start to compare, I remember being on vacation when my son was about 6 months old, so I had 2 kids under 2 at this point, and being in the swimming pool, and I'm like just happy I'm kind of back in my pre-kid bathing suit. And this woman goes into the pool, and I mean, she looks like a supermodel. It was South Beach. She may have been a supermodel. And I'm like,
Probably.
She's like, I'm like,
To go on vacation.
Yeah, exactly. Why are you going to South Beach, Kim?
all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, right? Like, I don't feel so good about myself. But, she probably doesn't have kids. I'm taking this part. And her nanny hands her like twin,
Little babies.
maybe a month old.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like, I feel bad about myself. And it's like the sun is still shining on me. I'm still the same person, but now I feel bad about myself simply because a supermodel with twins got in the swimming pool.
Wow.
And so it's that comparison piece that I always try to check.
Yeah.
I think historically, if you think about how women have been evaluated, it's always based on looks. So women come to fame because of their beauty. They're not necessarily celebrated for their intelligence or their success. I mean, it's starting to change now. But historically, if you think about all the centuries past, it's always about beauty, as the society defines it. So as soon as a girl is born, already you begin to evaluate, how do I fit in? What's my worth based on my looks?
Right. What's the one thing that you would say you struggle the most in appearance, in body? I mean, we can be so honest. What's the one thing? And I'll start because I'm throwing it up there. So I know this sounds crazy, and I know that, but it's my thighs. Because thighs are supposed to be where they say, you've got sort of the space in between. The thighs don't rub against the jeans, and it's my thighs. And I don't know where I came up with that. I think I read something when I was in my early 20s that you're supposed to have a certain amount of space in between, and that's how it's supposed to be. And it has stayed in my head, and it has been a battle. And I'm just like, even at this age now, I can't believe that I wouldn't say obsessed, but it is a very cognitive, thoughtful thing every morning. I'm like, wow, I don't have that space. And so that's one of those things, are my thighs. So I'd say that's one of the biggest things for me. And then the second one was height, and you can't really do anything about that. Maybe that's why I wear my 5-inch heels. But height was another thing because it was like 5'8", 6 foot for models. So you could wear the long pants and the high-waisted pants with the flare and look great. Where for me it's like that's got to be altered, or that doesn't fit your body shape. And so that would be one thing. Kim, you're like, What about you?
My stomach, because that's where I carry everything, and my skin, because I have old scars. Like I so struggle. Oh my goodness. Do you know how many times, God bless my grandmother, like, but dear, when I was younger, dear, you're just big boned. Like how big are my bones? How big are my bones? What? Like
big bone,
I was a chunky kid. I was, I've been super thin when I was going through lots of awful things in my life, and I've been bigger than I am now. Like I've been both, but my head, even when I was super thin, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I still thought, oh, I'm fat, I'm this, but I would say my stomach is where it is.
Yeah. So we got thighs,
Yes.
height, stomach.
So I'm going
What are
to
you?
get to some real neurotic thinking.
Okay. Hey.
At the height, for me, same thing. Stomach, weight, and all thing. At the height of my obsession with my weight, I actually secretly wished I was anorexic.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Because I know anorexic women, how much they suffer.
Yes.
But I was like, maybe that'll help me get rid of this.
Yep.
And I'll get back to health again once I'm
Once
perfect.
I get, but we don't.
And that's a statistic. They say that women, 9 out of 10 women, that's what they say, will not eat or do things that can actually is detrimental to their health.
Yeah.
Joe, what about you? What would you say that?
I mean, it's all the things.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the era of my life. I think the biggest thing right now is at 32, my body has changed so much since 10 years ago, where like, I don't like shopping anymore. And some of that has to do with like my penny pinching ways. But I don't know how to wear clothes now that fit my body because my body has become an adult body and not a young woman's body. I'm more a woman body, not a young woman body. So I'm like, I literally have no idea where to fit all these things in the clothes. And so I find I avoid shopping because it actually just makes me feel terrible. And I'm like, and the number that you have to wear now is different than the number before and like all that. So that would be what I just avoid.
Totally. Yeah. Jen, what about you?
For me, it's just aging skin. It's age spots, sunspots, you know, I guess punishment for misspent youth in the sun.
In South Beach.
Exactly. But, and yeah, I'm so sensitive. And like, I mean, I've gone and I've had laser treatments done, which are really painful and really expensive. And then I was putting, you know, known carcinogens all over my face, like knowing this stuff's really bad for you, but it fades the spots. And then deciding to ditch all of that. And it's the kind of thing, no one else, like my husband doesn't see it, my friends don't see it. But for me, it's like that body dysmorphia. It's so like, oh, look at that. And I think it's, especially if you had pride in a certain area, like when I was young, I had that real kind of porcelain skin. And it's like, oh, you know, there's a line in Little Women when Jo cuts her hair off and they're, Joe, you're one beauty. And you know, I'm sort of like, oh, my one beauty. It's gone away. So I find it's that, you know, if you're kind of prideful in an area, especially, that's usually the one that, you know, it's life has a funny way.
Yeah,
so
sure does. Totally. Dr. Mary, help us, because I think, you know, we're talking very honestly about these things, and even what's great is that even as a psychologist, you've struggled with it. I mean, we're all human. I think as women, we all have that, we have something that we are not happy with in our body. If you look at the statistics, and not just in this Dove report, but in a lot of other statistics that I was reading, women have at least one area that they are not happy about. How did we get here? Like, how did we get here, and how do we change that tape recorder in our head about how we should look and how we should be?
Well, I love you using the word tape recorder because that's where we have to kind of go back to. So do a body image inventory. Think about all the experiences you had in your life that reflected on your body image. And it could be even just how your mother handled it. Oh, I'm always so fat. And the image and the messages we got from that. But I think, for example, for myself, when I was about 9 or 10, my dad was walking behind me and he said, "You have such big legs." And then right away I was like, oh, I've got fat legs. And I struggled with that for years, years and years. Didn't matter how many times my husband said, "I love your legs." No, I've got fat legs.
Wow.
And then one day, I was looking at my legs in shorts. I was like, dang it, I got nice legs.
And you do, because I've seen you in shorts and in a bathing suit, and I've looked at your legs and went, wow, those are great legs.
But it's the lies.
Yes,
right?
Lies.
So do the inventory.
Yes. Okay.
Invite the Lord into it as you do the inventory. Allow yourself to feel the emotions, because really it was sad for me. I was really, really hurt by what my dad had said. You know, it still actually brings about some emotions, actually. And then ask the Lord, what are the lies I believe about myself? What are the misbeliefs I have? So I thought I'm ugly as a result of my dad making this offhanded comment, and he wouldn't even remember that he said that. Right? So do that inventory. Think through all the times, the experiences you've had, the teasing that you had, the time that your mom poked at your stomach and said you've gained weight, to the more serious ones that you've had. And then, like I said, invite the Lord to show you what is it that you believe about yourself. And then confront it with truth. Like, lay it before the Lord and say, Lord, I don't want to believe this about myself anymore. So what's the truth about this? What's the truth about, you know, this in my life? And look for the themes, too. Many of us talk about weight. So why is that? What's going on for us with that? And
So are you
McDonald's.
saying, yeah. So are you saying then for that inventory, because I like to be visual, so maybe you just get a journal out and all the things, like for me, it's like my thighs and all these different things, write those down.
well, actually,
Or
even
what are you
more
saying?
go through, Lord, like what are the experiences I had growing up that gave me negative images about my body? Bring it to mind. And just think through the memories that come to mind. Write them all down. Don't filter it.
Right.
And then as you do it, you're going to feel different points of pain and let yourself feel it. Because we usually shut that down, don't we?
Right.
And then as you feel it, Lord, what are the lies I believe about myself with these memories?
Okay.
And then what's the truth that you want me to know about myself?
Okay.
Yeah. And then in that, you can begin to reflect on experiences that you've had that are opposite and let yourself notice, actually, when my friend says that I have beautiful hair, I accept that. When my husband says I've got great legs, I accept that.
Okay.
Right.
Because that's the thing I was going to say is that there's that part of writing it down, but when it comes at you in real time, when you're driving down the road or you're hanging out in a studio or you're with friends, how do you respond in your mind or even out loud when something like that happens?
Yeah, and you're going to get triggered. I think that's part of being human.
Right.
It's noticing it and just saying, why do I feel what I feel? And saying, Lord, what is going on in me? Oh, I'm feeling ugly again.
Yeah.
Lord, would you speak truth to me right now?
Okay.
Because the truth is, we've birthed babies,
Yes.
you know, some of us, and and we have strong legs to walk. Like like I so believe we need to take care of ourselves because God has given us this body to take care of. I believe in beauty. Because if God didn't love it, he wouldn't have made a flower. Like, I think it's important, and this is what I try to teach my daughter. You need to take care of yourself. You need to go for a walk. You need to take care. You need to put nutrients into your body, you know. But when it becomes obsessive, which I'm dealing with, and I've got every magazine, and I have every diet book, and stuff. I've got them all.
Get rid of them all.
I've written
you
lists.
gotta get rid of them all.
You know what?
Bonfire her house.
Yes.
Well, maybe
Bring
that's
the
what it
marshmallows.
is.
Yeah.
I do need to get rid of them.
And you have to catch your thinking
Yes.
and say, no, I reject
So
it.
is that extreme? Like if you throw away the magazines, and what about like social media and stuff? How do you?
That's what I was going to say.
How do you do
Lots
that?
of stuff you should unfollow.
I have unfollowed a lot of stuff.
That's actually a good thing because there are times where I'm looking. There's this one woman who I absolutely adore.
It's
but,
me.
Yes, I wasn't going to say her name. I wasn't going to say her name, but I'm going to unfollow her because her life looks—it's the clothes, her body, everything. It's, and you're just like, oh my goodness, and it's
not
unattainable.
real.
It's not real.
And what about focusing on the things that you do love about yourself?
Yes.
Yeah,
Your character, your personality.
your gorgeous eyes.
Thanks.
Yeah, right? And maybe you need to do that. Maybe you need to sit around with girlfriends and say, okay, I want you to gush on me.
Yeah.
Well, tell me the good things about me in a good way.
And write them down.
If you think about when you're walking through and you see a beautiful tree, it's the knots on it that make you go, oh, this is so interesting.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
battle scars
That
of
is
life,
so true.
right?
That's good. I like
Can
that.
I go past her for a minute?
Yeah, go past her.
So I think whenever this comes up, and it's in the context of, again, my upbringing, what it reminds me of is like, we're just not done yet. Like there is, I've been thinking about this in the, we just, this spring we came out of the Easter season, so there's this focus on death and life. There's something so unnatural to us about death. Every culture, every place, there's something so horrifying and terrible about death because there's something built into us that says we shouldn't die. We feel more than just our mortality as humans. It was never how we were meant to be. So in the same way with our human fleshiness and how we feel about ourselves, I think it continues to point us to God. Because there is a promise of a new heaven and a new earth, and we're going to be ourselves, that we will recognize each other there, but we'll be in this new perfect body. Whatever that means, I don't know. That's where you go too far down the speculating on theology.
Yeah.
But there is something about when we see something about ourselves that we wish was different. Like, yeah, the Lord is renewing us. He is making us new. And this is not the forever story. This thing that we hate about ourselves, we should care for ourselves. But like 100 years from now, all of us will be in different bodies.
Yes.
And we'll recognize each other in that way, but it's going to be different. It's this renewal that is promised. And we're trying to make that happen in all these, what did you say, like these arsonogenic, I don't know, whatever. I have no idea what they're called because I don't use any of them. I don't know what they are. Maybe later my skin will make me put poison on it. I don't know. But the point is, whatever it is, that like we're trying to do something in the here and now that God promises will come.
Yeah.
And so like take care, but like
have the
not too much.
Perspective. Yeah.
Just chill out.
Yeah.
It's coming. It is coming.
Yeah, that's
50
good.
years from now, we're all going to have it.
Yeah.
And I
That's
would say,
encouraging.
speaking as a woman who is over 50, I am at the place where there's greater self-acceptance. Because it is only going downhill from here, like literally. So
More,
I'm much more focused on what is it the Lord wants me to do? What does He want my life to represent?
Right.
As opposed to what
Yeah,
I
that's
look like.
good.
When we go
I want to get into some scripture.
Yes.
Because I think we always in the show, you know, we share and we're open, but we always go back to scripture. What is God saying to us? And especially for our bodies, it's important. So I know, Joe, you're going to read 1 Samuel 16:7. And then Kimberly, you're going to read Ephesians 2:10. And I'd love to just discuss that before we finish up the show, because I think these are important verses for ourselves, but also for our viewers to kind of say, these are encouraging verses to help me when I struggle in this area. Go ahead.
This is from 1 Samuel 16, and the context is they're trying to find a new king of Israel. And so the guy who's finding the king thinks he's found this very handsome man, and then but God says it's not that handsome man. And it says in 1 Samuel 16:7, but the Lord said to Samuel, don't judge by his appearance or height, for I have rejected him. The Lord doesn't see things the way you see them. People judge by outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. The
Amen.
Lord
Amen
looks
to
at
the
the heart.
height.
The Lord looks at the heart now.
He looks at the heart, not the height. Yeah, he sure does. Maybe that's why I pulled the verse. But when you know, when Joe's reading that, what comes to you? Like, this is, you know, exactly. It's like, well, the king should be handsome and gorgeous and have that look. And then God says,
Well, it tells us where beauty is. It has to flow from our heart first. Listen, I have met some very pretty, ugly people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the more you get to know them,
You're like,
Beauty has to flow from our heart. And doesn't that, when truly we know our image, we are made in the image of Christ, and when we understand where that truly comes from, and that just, there's something about that,
And there's
right?
beauty that just shines from their face. When
Yes.
you sense that's the beautiful heart coming through.
and it's like this eternal thing about them is starting to ooze out of
right.
their skin.
Yeah, I love that. Jen, what about you? This verse that when you hear that?
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it's about that kind of building your house on the rock as well. And so, you know, what are we doing in this life? Because there are women I know who, you know, at 7 when they're having their coffee, it's because they're taking a break between workouts. Like, they literally go from workout to workout, and they look amazing. But I'm like, so I could look better if I worked out for 4 hours a day.
Right.
But for me, it's about, you know, what else can I do in this lifetime? Because we have to manage time. And for me, it's like I work out enough to stay healthy, and then I enjoy my life. And having a meal with friends to me is more investing in the kingdom than another hour on the treadmill. So I just sort of try to look at it as, what are we to do in this lifetime? And I don't think it's just about making ourselves as pretty as possible, because the aging process, I think, is a big clue from God that, you know, as we get closer and closer to the time when we meet Him, it's less and less about this, right? That's how I explain wrinkles.
And that's what I love. But that's what I love about the Lord looks at the heart, and that's something we have to remember, and especially as women who follow Jesus. Like, I'm really aware of that. Like, my example, the way I live, has to be that. Because if I'm teaching about this, and yet I'm obsessing constantly about it, then I'm not being actually true to what I really believe. And so I think it's a good reminder about the Lord looks at the heart. Who would be the best king? Who would be this best person to lead? It's actually the person with the character, the heart, you know, the strength that can do it versus, because this is fleeting, right? We know that.
Totally.
Okay, Kimberly, Ephesians 2:10.
Speaking of fleeting, I just have to put on my glasses. I really do, because I can't see it.
Okay.
So Ephesians 2:10, New Living Translation. For we are God's masterpiece.
Yeah.
He has created us anew in Christ Jesus so we can do the good things he planned for us long ago.
Okay, see how that's a perspective change,
Yeah.
right? Because when I read that, I'm like, I'm God's handiwork to do the good works, right? That God prepared for us, to do the good works of the kingdom here on earth, to love my neighbor, to love others, to make a difference. That reframes things. Because if we're about our looks, and that's what we put all of our money and time into, you know, we're God's handiwork, but we were created in Christ Jesus to do these good works.
Yeah.
Any thoughts about that when you hear that verse? What do you think?
Well, I mean, it sort of goes to all of the points where we are here, I think, to learn. I think this is a big training ground. And I mean, part of that is learning what makes us us. And I think we get, as you age, I mean, I care less and less and less. And some people would say, well, you have to do that psychologically, you'd go nuts. But I care less as I age. I'm more comfortable in my skin, and I think more about what I need to be doing to gift other people and to take lessons and to learn. And very little, and I mean, I love makeup. I love skincare. It's, I mean, it's what I do on the side. I love it. But I know that it has nothing to do with me, right? It has nothing to do with me. And it has nothing to do with what I was put on this planet to do.
Right, which is exactly the verse. Dr. Mary, any last thoughts about the verse or any other final things to encourage us as we struggle and navigate through this appearance anxiety and body esteem?
I think let's just be honest together as women that it is a common struggle. The stats tell us that.
Yeah.
Let's not pretend we have it all together. But the same token, let's look to the Lord. I read somewhere once that who we are at the end of our life is who we are in heaven. So that's all about our character. It's all about our experiences. It's all about what we've done with our life, not about how we look. And I love the reminder that we will have a new body.
And that's exciting.
Right?
Woo! Yeah. And high fives all
Really good
around.
at dancing there.
I think so.
Amazing.
I have the heart of a dancer.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for your thoughts. I so appreciate Jen, Kim, Joe, just being honest, sharing so honestly. I think I appreciate that. I know our viewers will. And Dr. Mary, as always, thank you for, I think the tips and advice and wisdom you give is really important, because you can take all this, but we all need sort of the skill and the know-how. Change the tape recorder and have healthy responses, you know, when somebody says something, what do we do? And so that is really important. And to you, our viewers, you know, we know many of you are struggling right now with your body and your appearance, and we hope that we shared on this show, the things we shared will encourage you and inspire you to begin to change that tape recorder we've talked about in your mind, to see yourself as loved and beautiful and full of abilities to do good works for God, for the world, that this outward flesh is fleeting, but your character and how you love God and others and yourself is really what matters. It will be a battle. Look at us. It will be a battle, but always go to God first with it. Your struggles, He's always there, and He will help you. Well, thanks for watching. And if you need more resources on today's topic, encouraging blogs about our struggles, what we do, if you just want to chat with us, head on over to seehearlove.com. And if you want prayer, please go to seehearlove.com. We'd love to hear from you and pray for you. And always know that you are seen, you are heard, and deeply, deeply in all your flaws, in all the muffin top, in the fat thighs and the height and everything. You are loved by God. Bye-bye.